tell us about yourself and how you developed a passion for helping individuals live healthier and happier lives.
Yes. Well, I realize I'm on a men's health podcast. So interestingly, it starts with a man. Yes, a specific man who is really the inspiration for all this work and continues to inspire me to this very day. I don't know, Gabe, if you know who I'm referring to or not. You may or may not know.
I think I know who you're referring to.
Okay. Well, all right. So it is a man who was overstressed, overweight, and overworked at the age of 52 and really had a very, very unhealthy lifestyle. He ate fast food. He consumed food on the run. Again, this is a New York City businessman. Ate fast, walk fast, talk fast, sometimes all three at the same time. And he was very, very stressed. And stress reduction would be via eating cookies, candies, cakes, and perhaps a little yelling. But this man had a job to do. And like many people listening to this podcast, felt very committed to the work. He took over his father's business in New York City with tax accounting, financial advising on Park Avenue, and he wanted that to be successful. So whether you are a contractor, a dentist, a doctor, a lawyer, a business person running your own business, someone working in a shop that is a coffee shop, for example, whatever it may be, my Greek grandparents who ran a Greek restaurant, whoever it may be, often you're living for that and only for that, for the customer, for the success of the company. And that was this man's sole purpose. He did have kids and a wife at this time, but when he was at home, he wasn't present because he was always present at work. He was always thinking about work, even though body was at home. But it was only at home, his body, from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. because he would go to work from 6 to 11 p.m. on most days. And maybe he would be home on the weekends, go to church with his mom and the family, have Sunday brunch, and then back to work. So you can see a very unbalanced, unhealthy lifestyle. Sleep was very interrupted. And at most, it would be 3-4 hours in a row. So we went over many of the pillars of lifestyle medicine there, except we didn't do one major one, which is exercise. We did nutrition, we did stress, we did sleep, we did social connection. We're missing exercise. This man was a very good athlete, and he played sports throughout his whole life, soccer, basketball, baseball, very athletic. But at 52, sedentary. He sat at the office, he sat on the train, and I'd say he did nothing, but that's not fully true. He did one thing, Gabe, one thing. And it happened at the very exact same time of the day, but you didn't know which day of the week it would happen. But you knew what time it would be when he did it. I don't know if you could possibly guess what this man would do at this particular time of the day, this New York City businessman. If you have any guesses, what might you guess?
No, because I got wrong who I thought you were referring to.
I thought so.
Yeah.
Because when I got going, I know who you thought, and I'll talk
Yeah.
about that in a minute.
Yeah.
But so it was 11:07 p.m. that this activity would occur, exactly at that time. And so it was sprints, mad dashes, like faster than fast. And the reasoning would be he knew exactly how long it took to get from 101 Park Avenue to Grand Central Station to catch the last train home. He would do mad sprints because if he didn't catch the train home, Gabe, he's sleeping on the cot at work. And that's not comfortable. Again, he didn't sleep really much at home anyway, but he didn't like to sleep in the cot. So he'd make these sprints. Now, you may be guessing as to what happened to this gentleman that continues to be my inspiration, but I'll finish the story. On one of these mad dashes to the train station, little something, pressure in the chest, no pain, no gain, forged forward, made the train, got home to his home station, Scarsdale, at around 11:32, whenever it would come. And his wife, a teacher, no medical background, took one look at him. At that time, after a half hour of this chest pain, he was in such severe pain it felt like an elephant was on his chest, numbness and tingling down his left hand, sweaty, pale, short of breath. His wife took one look at him, took him to the local emergency room where he completed his massive myocardial infarction and right middle cerebral artery infarct, leaving him paralyzed on the left side at the age of 52. And this man is my inspiration. And I know his story so well that I'm delighted to tell you he made a complete recovery and a complete lifestyle change. And this is where that person comes in that you were thinking of. So this man, smart New York City businessman, said, I don't want this to happen to me again. So he went through rehab a full year. Everything came back except for fine motor motion in his left hand. That's the only thing that didn't come back. So he couldn't manipulate coins with his left hand, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else came back at the age of 53. He was back, fully functioning. But he decided that wasn't going to happen to him again. So he found Pritikin centers, Whitaker centers. He and his wife went, and they were inpatient, or what we call, they stayed overnight for about 12 days at these centers, learning how to cook healthy foods. Vegetables appeared on his plate. Fast food was never again engaged in. The cookies, the cakes, the candies disappeared. An exercise bike entered the house. He was on that exercise bike 5 days a week for 1/2 hour. He learned about deep breathing and taking walks for stress. He learned about socially connecting. I know for a fact that he kissed his wife in front of his children for the first time after a stroke, and that is because I am one of his children. So that was my dad, and I was 18 when all of that happened, and it absolutely informed my life, my career, my work with him, because I was going to take over the company to be the third generation to run that business and make my grandpa proud and my pop proud. But I chose not to go that way because I became fascinated, absolutely fascinated with what happened to him and why it happened to him. His high blood pressure that was undiagnosed, his high cholesterol that was undiagnosed. He had abdominal adiposity. I could have diagnosed that, but he hadn't seen a doctor in so long. And this is where Dean Ornish comes into the picture, because then I basically changed my major from economics in college to pre-med biology and psychology. And I started reading all about Dean Ornish's work, Alan Rosansky's work, and many of the pioneers in lifestyle medicine, their work around diet, exercise, stress resiliency, and then later the other pillars of lifestyle medicine: sleep, social connection, and avoidance of risky substances. So I thank Dean Ornish. He's one of my major mentors and people that to this day I look to for guidance and inspiration, certainly. It is, though, that one man, my dad, who lived his best 27 years after the heart attack and stroke. So he lived a phenomenal life, a much better life after. And our relationship grew. I always loved him. We had a good relationship, but he was on a different level when he changed his lifestyle and prioritized his social connections and cut back on the work. So that is how I got into this, and it is my life's work. It is my entire career and everything that I'm passionate about.